There is this story that there are two wolves that live in us. One is the good wolf and the other one is the bad wolf. And often they are fighting amongst each other. And the question is, who usually wins? So ask yourself, if you have two wolves within you, who wins? And the answer is the one that you feed. Why am I sharing this story with you? Because very often people come and ask me, how do you get rid of negative thoughts? It's tough. I try many times. I want to change it, but these negative thoughts don't leave me. And guess what? They don't leave you because that's what you're feeding. That's what you're thinking about all the time, consciously or not. It is the bad wolf that you're feeding. And because you're focusing and feeding so much on it, it's just growing. And it grows so big that sometimes you feel overwhelmed that you can't get rid of these negative thoughts. So when you get an opportunity, try feeding the other wolf, which is the positive thoughts, enabling thoughts, thoughts that inspire you and motivate you. So catch yourself when you're getting into a negative thought spiral and tell yourself, hey, I'm catching it in the nip. I'm not going to continue with this thought. I'm going to change directions and look at things that motivate, inspire me. And for me, sometimes resources help. For example, I may not feel strong enough to get out of that negative thought and break that pattern. So I just open up my music album and listen to my favorite songs. And while I listen to those favorite songs, it just helps me disconnect with that negative thought, gets me flowing into the music, changes my mood, and then it helps me get into thinking positively, thinking into areas that inspire me, motivate me. And this habit can be achieved if you consistently do it. Catch yourself 2-3 times a day, increase that to 4-5 times, and you'll notice that you naturally start thinking more positive, you'll naturally think more futuristic, and you feel much happier about yourself. Just imagine your mind is a garden. It has beautiful flowers, fruits, plants, and along with that, a lot of weeds. So this was a painting made by my daughter. As soon as I saw that, I said, I want to steal it from my office. But that is true. Our positive thoughts are like the flowers and fruits that enable and grow us. Our negative thoughts are like the weeds. And like a true gardener, we need to keep removing the weeds from our garden so that our garden can remain fresh and healthy all the time. So as gardeners, what are we doing about our weeds? And weeds in this case are the negative thoughts that keep cropping up in our minds. So we need to regularly pluck them out before they take over the whole garden and destroy that beautiful Garden of Eden in our minds. So very often people come to me and say, how do we remove these negative thoughts? And so I often tell them, you remove it with being an ACE. So ACE is a 3-step approach I use to remove negative thoughts for myself and the clients that I work with. So A stands for awareness. Step 1. Are you aware that you're going through negative thoughts? In a day, we go through thousands of thoughts. Some of them are positive, some of them are anxious, some of them are negative. And we're not able to decipher them because we're doing so much of work. We don't take the time to be still, to reflect, and to see what are those thoughts and how they're serving us. So the first step is you need to reflect and be still and realize what are the thoughts I want to change in my mind. And one guiding post for me is emotions. Emotions guide me whether these thoughts are enabling or not. Because sometimes it's not easy to decipher that, as many of you already know. Because sometimes anxiety causes positivity as well. So when there is a new plan I'm going to do, I feel anxious. And that's a good thing because anxiety drives you to action for doing something new. But over here, we're looking at emotion that brings gloom, that brings constant sadness, that brings a sense of demotivation, a sense of feeling that you're worthless. Those are the negative thoughts I'm looking at to explore and identify and make them stand out, because you want to make that go. So the first step in the ACE process is awareness. So when you identify those thoughts, you need to start taking action after that. So let's say there is a negative thought that's in a mind. I don't want to speak to a certain person to collaborate because I feel that person doesn't like me. Now, that's a simple negative thought that I'm picking up for an example's sake. So that's an awareness I picked up about a certain person, about a thought I have for that person. The next step of the ACE is C, which is choice. We always have a choice. Even in situations where we feel we don't control the government, we don't control the environment, we don't control the organizations, we still have a choice. In this case, the choice I have is, do I continue with that negative thought and let it do what's doing to me right now? Or do I change that negative thought? So the second step is critical because you need to make a conscious choice. And whatever choice you take, whether you choose to continue in that negative thought, you need to take responsibility of that. So you chose to take responsibility whether to continue or to change. If you choose to change the negative thought, you move into the third and last step, which is the E of the ACE step. Execute. You execute your choice. Now, how do you execute that choice here is, every thought comes with a certain belief, with a certain story you tell yourself. So if I use the example I've shared with you, I don't want to speak to this person because I feel that person doesn't like me. So I ask myself, how do you know that person doesn't like you or has negative thoughts for you? So I question that belief I have on the thought. So the evidence I could look at is, I don't get response to my emails or my text messages. They don't respond in time. They don't value my time. And then I ask myself, is this enough reason to justify that negative thought, to justify you not taking an action? So as I keep digging deeper and deeper in the negative thought with the intention to remove it or to negate it or to prove it is not true, I start looking for answers. I start looking for solutions. And one way to find a solution that how true my negative thought is doing something about it. In this case, it could be just calling that person and asking that person how they feel about you, or the thought that you have is true or not, or sensing it in a certain manner. And that is execution, which is doing something to remove that negative thought or to replace that negative thought with something more enabling that makes you move forward. What's most important in this whole journey is for you to move forward. And a negative thought always takes you back. So you want to arrest that. You want to stop that. And executing is the only way to stop it. Taking action is the only way to stop it. So remember the ACE model, which is be aware, what is the negative thought? Choose and decide, this is where your power is. Decide you want to change it. Third is change it. Because change can only happen through action. Not through planning in the head, not through intention, not through thinking through it, only by doing it. So take your baby steps, try it out, and make that change happen. I hope you like this video and I hope this serves you in the best way possible.